Good morning, students. Today our topic is knee joint. Knee joint is uniaxial, condylar, compound and complex variety of synovial joint. It mainly moves on transverse axis, so it is known as the uniaxial joint. Joint is formed between the condyles of the femur and tibia, so it is condylar joint. More than two bones are involved to form the knee joint, so it is an example of compound joint. And this joint cavity is incompletely divided by menisci, so the joint is complex. Knee joint is formed between the articular surface of the medial and lateral condyles of the femur, articular surfaces of medial and lateral condyles of the tibia, and posterior articular surface of the patella. In anatomical position, lower surfaces of the both condyles lie in a horizontal plane, and long axis of the tibia and long axis of the femur makes 170-degree angle which opens laterally. Lower end of the femur is expanded to form medial and lateral condyles separated by intercondylar fossa. This our lateral surfaces, lateral and medial surface of the corresponding condyles is rough and convex. Maximum convexity presents medial and lateral epicondyles. Below the lateral epicondyle there is a groove. Anterior part of the groove gives attachment to the popliteus muscle, and behind the attachment of the popliteus, the rest of the groove accommodates the tendon of the popliteus during full flexion. This lateral condyle of the femur is more massive, but this medial epicondyle projects more, bulges more, and both the condyles presents a V-shaped articular area involving the anterior, inferior and posterior surfaces. This apex of the V-shaped area forms the patellar surface because it comes in contact with the posterior articular surface of the patella, and rest of the surfaces are known as the tibial surface because those area comes in contact with the articular areas of the medial and lateral condyles of the tibia separated by the menisci. This intercondylar fossa presents a lateral wall, medial wall and a floor. The floor is bounded above and below by upper and lower borders. Upper border gives attachment to the oblique popliteal ligament and the capsule of the joint, and lower border gives attachment to the apex of the infrapatellar synovial fold. Now, the lateral profile, the articular surface of the medial and lateral condyle of the femur accommodates a arcs of number of circles. When joining the centers of the circle, we get a curved line. This is known as the evaluate of the profile. The transverse axis on which the flexion and extension of the knee joint takes place is not a fixed axis. This axis changes its position moment to moment. During extension, this transverse axis moves forwards, and during flexion, this transverse axis moves backwards along the evaluate of the profile. This is very important for movement. Now come to the articular surface of the condyles of the tibia. The upper expanded end bears medial and lateral epicondyles. The upper surface presents two articular surfaces which are covered by the articular hyaline cartilage separated by an intercondylar areas. The medial articular surface is ovoid in outline and lateral is circular in outline. Medial one is larger. Anterior surface of the both tibial condyles presents a triangular area with apex directed downwards, and this apex coincides with the tibial tuberosity. Now, posterior surface of the patella is mostly articular except nearest apex, which gives attachment to the ligamentum patellium. The total articular surface is divided by an imaginary vertical line, a vertical ridge, by a larger lateral area and smaller medial area. This medial area is further divided by another vertical ridge to demarcate the medial most articular area, and by rest of the medial area and full lateral area is further divided by two horizontal lines. So altogether there are 7 articular areas: upper 2 areas, middle 2 areas, lower 2 areas, and the medial most articular areas. During ordinary extension, the patella does not come in contact with the femur, during exterior extension or hyperextension, this patella does not come in contact with the femur, but in ordinary extension, this lower 2 areas comes in contact with the patellar surface of the femur. This middle 2 areas comes in contact with femur during semiflex condition, whereas the upper 2 comes in contact with the patellar surface of the femur during ordinary flexion. This medial most area comes in contact with the femur with a strip of the patellar articular surface which extends toward the medial epicondyle during full flexion or extreme flexion of knee joint. These bones are connected by number of ligaments. Capsular ligament envelops the knee joint. Proximally, it is attached along the upper border of the floor of the intercondylar area, close to the articular margins of the medial and lateral epicondyles, and in both medial and lateral surfaces 1 inches above and parallel to the articular margins. Above the patellar surface, this area, there is an extension of the synovial membrane as suprapatellar bursa. So there is, in this area, capsule is deficient. Below, the capsule is attached along the margins of the, close to the margins of the articular surfaces, except a groove in the posterior part of the lateral epicondyle for passage of the popliteus muscle and accompanying bursa. In front, this capsular ligament attached along the medial and lateral margins of the triangular area that affects the anterior surface of the both condyles and blends with the ligamentum patellae. Now, synovial membrane a bit complicated in case of knee joint. It lines the inner aspect of the capsule and intercapsular part of the bone beyond the articular cartilage. It extends as a suprapatellar bursa from the upper margin of the patella and extends along the tendon of the popliteus. Below, it presents a infrapatellar synovial fold towards upwards and backwards and encroaching to intertrochanteric fossa and attached to the lower margin. Apex is attached to the lower margin of the floor. These two are known as these two folds, lateral folds of the infrapatellar synovial bursa is known as the alar folds. From posterior aspect, this synovial membrane projects forwards to cover the anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. Next is tibial and lateral fibular collateral ligaments. Tibial collateral ligament presents two strata, superficial and deep. This is the superficial and deep. Both strata attached to the medial epicondyle of the femur. Superficial strata is attached to the upper part of the medial border and adjoining medial surface of the tibia, but deep strata is intimately blends with the capsular ligament and attached to the groove in the upper margin of the groove for the semimembranosus muscle. Fibular collateral ligament extends like a cord. Above it is attached to the lateral epicondyle of the femur and below is attached to the head of the fibula close to the styloid process. Next is anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. Anterior cruciate ligaments, above it is attached to the posterior superior part of the lateral wall of the intertrochanteric fossa of the femur. Below they attach to the anterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia. This anterior cruciate ligament stretched during extension and prevents forward dislocation of the tibial condyles, whereas the posterior cruciate ligament is attached to the anterior inferior part of the medial wall of the femoral intertrochanteric fossa, and below is attached to the posterior part of the intercondylar area of the tibia. And this posterior cruciate ligament is stretched during flexion and prevents backward displacement of the tibia. Next, oblique popliteal ligament. It is derived as an expansion of the tendon of the semimembranosus. It projects upwards and laterally and attached to the upper border of the floor of the intercondylar area of the femur. And this oblique popliteal ligament forms the floor of the popliteus fossa and it is pierced by the middle genicular nerve and vessels and genicular branch of the posterior division of the occipital nerve. Arcuate popliteal ligament is a Y-shaped band. Its stem is attached to the styloid plane of the head of the fibula. Anterior band passes deep to the fibular collateral ligament and attached to the lateral condyles of the tibia, and the posterior band arches over the popliteus muscle and attached to the lateral condyle of the tibia. Coronary ligament is derived from the capsular ligament and attached to the peripheral margin of the meniscus, both medial and lateral meniscus. Another ligament is a transverse ligament. It connects the anterior horn of the medial meniscus to the anterior margin of the lateral meniscus. Another ligament is the meniscomedial ligaments. Anterior and posterior meniscomedial ligaments are attached to the posterior horn of the lateral meniscus. The anterior band passes in front of the posterior cruciate ligament to get attached to the medial condyle of the femur, whereas this posterior band passes behind this posterior cruciate ligament. Now that's all about the first part of the knee joint. Thank you.